Okay, why not? Since you're the minority. Oh yeah, that was 2 against 1. For those of you who can't see over there, that was 2 against 1. Scott and Ichiro said yes, and Damián said no. So Damián, why no?
If you got 100 people, you got such a big burn rate. Like I don't know how you're sustaining yourself at that point, but I don't know. I could be convinced. I just said it's contrary.
Well, indie is more than just burn rate, right? I mean, it's a question, if you have a bunch of small teams in your company, it's more than 100 people, but you have a bunch of small teams that are working on games where your personality shines, you would say,
okay, moving on, lightning round. Can't stop. A studio that is owned by another company, can it be indie? Yes. Once again, it's 2 against 1, but Damián would no. Damián, why could they not be indie?
I feel like, by definition, legally, you're not independent. I thought it was very simple.
So why can't it be indie? He has the law on his side.
Not independent.
He has the law on his side. Why can you be?
All right, I think
owned by another studio.
I think the whole lightning round is bullshit.
Can I ask where you got these questions? Because they sound really familiar.
I have a good friend Leo in the back over there. But seriously, why? Why?
Okay, so to me, indie is much more like the idea of a litmus test for what is indie or not is something that's going around right now.
You're so not answering the question.
You gave me the floor. I'm taking the floor. I'm a furry mammal. I'm a furry mammal. Yeah. All right. So indie is as a litmus test. Is this indie? Is that not indie? Is useless. And when I say the word useless, hear me say dripping hatred. Bullshit. It is not helpful. Like indies need helpful. For us to sit around and decide, well, this is indie or this isn't indie, doesn't help anyone get anything done.
You just don't want to answer the question?
No, I've been thinking about this. It doesn't matter because, what was the question?
You're right.
I was in the middle of a good rant. You were totally derailed.
This is the guy that's on Boston indies.
Okay, all right, I'm going to move on. And we're going to keep going with this. So, your opinion has been noted, and we're going to continue with the lightning round. Can the following be indie? A small studio that is funded by a publisher. Okay, we have 2 yeses and an on. Alright. Can a studio that works solely on publisher-owned IP be indie? Okay, we need less ons and more yeses or nos. Okay, so now we have another interesting disagreement. We have 2 against 1. Again, Damián being the odd man out with yes. Damián, why can a studio that works solely on publisher-owned IP be indie?
I mean, there's a lot of IP that's owned, but it's pretty dormant. And if an indie studio can come along and breathe new life into it, that could be awesome. It could be awesome for them. It could be awesome for the IP. It could be awesome for the publisher. I mean, it makes me think, for example, of American McGee's Alice or something like that. Totally unique artistic vision. I don't know who owns Alice in Wonderland, the IP, or whether it's public domain at this point. But anyway, even if Disney had owned Alice in Wonderland, that still would have been like totally worth it and totally indie.
Okay, moving on with the lightning round. Can a studio be indie if it earns more than $10 million a year?
Yes,
please. Ichiro aspires to be that indie, but I think we all do. Okay, can a person making iPhone games as a hobby, is he indie? Or she, yes. He or she, yes. No. Okay, so we got 2 against 1 with Scott saying no. So, Scott, why can a person making an iPhone game as a hobby not be indie?
The lightning round is bullshit. The conversation itself, the idea of the conversation is bankrupt. It is not helpful. As an indie, if we sit around navel gazing, figuring out whether we are truly indie, like what is my t-shirt ironic and my pants are tight, or Like, there was, I ended up with a distinct feeling making a strategy role-playing game that, like, this didn't quite fit in with the cool kids of indie. And that's not helpful to anyone. It's not helpful to them or us or anybody. The helpful thing is to use indie as an inspiration, as an aspiration, as something where you say, you know what, I am seeking to be something. So that's why most anybody and anything can be indie, but many things are not. You can try and go for something, but certain situations make it almost impossible to do that. If you're in a big company and you're working and you have a lot to lose, it's hard to be indie, right? That's just how it is. But doing a litmus test isn't helpful. You need to use it as an aspiration. Now I'm done.
I hate Scott, but I think he's right. I wonder, though, this is, you know, a question maybe for another panel. Is indie becoming a brand?
Yes. That is a question for another panel. I agree. Really quickly, audience participation. Are you enjoying the lightning round? Yeah! I think we're going to keep going, Scott. Just been outvoted. Don't worry, we're almost done.
Make Scott rant more.
That'll happen on its own. Don't worry. Okay, can this be indie? A person making a shitty, plagiarized iPhone game as a hobby. Okay, is the following indie? The Behemoth. Makers of Castle Crashers and Alien Hominin, for those of you who don't know.
I'm not sure who that is.
You don't know who that is?
Behemoth?
The Behemoth, the makers of Castle Crashers and
Castle
Alien Hominin.
Crashers?
Okay. Is the following indie? Valve.
They're so that's correct.
So 2 yeses and a no from Damián. And finally, is the following indie? Zynga. Zynga. Alright, thank you so much for the indie panel. Do you have one for that on Zynga? Yeah, there you go. Alright, thank you so much for the lightning round, guys. Alright, we got time for, I think we got time for 2 more questions, maybe 3, and then we're going to turn over to the audience. So, quickly, I'm going to ask everyone to please quiet down. We still have some more fascinating and titillating stuff coming out of these guys. So, yes, titillating. What is your end goal as an indie? Do you want to stay indie? And for that, I'd like to start with Damián.
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to stay in control. I think that means being indie, as loosely as we've defined it earlier. So yes, I want to stay indie. Yeah.
What's your end goal specifically?
The end goal is to keep doing what we're doing. To just to keep going, and try a lot of cool things, and make a lot of cool things.
Okay. Again, I define it 2 ways. Independent, people in control of business, equals people in control of the creative process. So yes, on that one, I want to stay there. Indie, personality shows through into our games, definitely want to stay there. So hell yeah, I mean, we can do that. We can make our $5 billion. I can stop eating ramen and eat a little better ramen maybe, and still be indie. So that's okay. Insofar as indie is a brand, in 5 years I might not care for the label, but those 2 criteria are very important to me.
Based on how I look at it as an inspiration, I don't know. Because I know at this point that the things I wanted 8 years ago are very different from what I wanted 3 years ago when I started, are very different from, in some ways, what I want now. So right now, I'm still engaged creatively and trying to make something new and interesting by my own lights. But at some point that may change and I may want to value other things or do other things. So, I don't know, we'll see. I'm kind of taking it as it comes.
Okay, second to last question. What AAA game do you hate?
Slime Ball Scrappers.